Hello everyone, this is Griffin Station back here with another Jump Force video. And today's video, which is my second video today actually, is going to be based on the stages that we're going to be seeing in this game. Now, I wanted to discuss this, and I've had this video in the works for quite a bit of time, but unfortunately I wasn't able to get it out when I wanted to. But I wanted to discuss this because there hasn't been too much discussion on this, and I feel it can actually be a pretty interesting conversation, considering we have our anime world and manga world, of course, and our real life world just colliding together and making this really interesting matchup. And so, first off, we already know that we're going to have the Alps, which has the Hokage faces, and I think it's also the same stage that has Frieza's ship. I know that in the trailer you see like it pans over the Hokage faces and it shows, and it's like in an icy area where, and then after with Frieza's ship it's sort of like a grassy type area. But if you look at how the stages are created and like in some of the gameplay footage, it looks like they're back to back. And it would make sort of sense considering if you look up images of the Alps online, you'll see like the mountains are like covered in ice, but after there's just this green area nearby. And so I actually feel like that the Frieza ship and the Hokage faces are actually on the same stage in the Alps. Next, we also have Hong Kong, which was actually shown in the original trailer with the Thousand Sunny, and obviously in the Bleach Shonen Jump reveal, we saw that Blackbeard's ship is going to be in this Hong Kong stage, and also in a recent screenshot we also saw that there's going to be a marine ship in Hong Kong. And now, finally, we also know, of course, that there's going to be New York's Times Square in this game, and then after there's going to be the Ten Tails routes around the city, and we've seen plenty of gameplay of that if you've watched the gameplay. So we know 3 official stages. It may be 4 if Frieza's ship is actually on a separate level from the Hokage faces, but I think the Hokage faces are on the same level as Frieza's ship. So here are my couple of locations that I wanted to see in this game. And that first one is the Eiffel Tower. And I mean, if you just look at the Eiffel Tower, you can find many different pictures of the Eiffel Tower. And it's one of the most iconic locations, I would say, in the world. And it's located in France, obviously. And it's just so beautiful. It's a really great tourist spot. And I feel it would be a really great location for them to include. Our next location is going to be the Taj Mahal, and that is located in India. It's also a really well-known place. If you look at the image up, it's extremely beautiful. You have the water, you have the green life, and then after you have the whole palace, and it's just breathtaking, honestly. I would love to see this as a location in Jump Force. Another location I have on my list is the Roman Colosseum. And I already have my predictions of what would cross over into the Roman Colosseum. It's actually pretty obvious if you know Shonen Jump at all. But the Roman Colosseum, I mean, it's already sort of decaying, and it would just fit the thematic really well. You'd see this decaying Colosseum, and then something just utterly, like, maybe even destroying it a bit more. And it would just be really aesthetically pleasing. My next on this list is the Great Sphinx in Egypt. And the Great Sphinx is another one of those that everyone just knows about. And it's a monument, and I feel it would be a wasted opportunity to not include a level like this. I mean, it would sort of be reminiscent of Alabasta, considering like desert-like area, but it's not exactly a city. It's just a giant sand sculpture thing, and it's just great history. I think it would be really interesting to be able to play around it, play on top of it, maybe even. And I mean, looking at these stages that we have so far, they're massive, and so I feel like the massive scale of the Sphinx would work really well in Jump Force. My next on this list is going to be the Golden Gate Bridge in California. And I know we already have New York in the United States, but Golden Gate Bridge is on the opposite side of the coast, so it's on west side, whereas New York's on the east side, and so it's not like they're just like a couple hours away unless you fly. The Golden Gate Bridge is one of California's many, I would say, iconic locations, and I mean, if you don't want to just use a bridge, you could use like San Francisco itself. It would sort of lend itself back to Hong Kong or New York, since they're all pretty busy cities. But there's also Alcatraz. It's just surrounded by a bay, so there's a lot you could do with that area. And the last real life location I have on my list is another bridge, and that's the Rainbow Bridge. And I chose this because when I went to Japan, I was really looking forward to seeing the Rainbow Bridge. Once I got there, it wasn't lit up, and I was sort of upset, and I'm like, why is it not lit up? And after I looked it up, and I realized, oh, it's only lit up during, I think, like December or something, and I went during April, so I missed my chance. But I guess if I go back, I could see the Rainbow Bridge. But regardless of all that, if you just look at this picture that I have here, and you can look up any other picture online, the Rainbow Bridge is so beautiful when it's lit up, and I feel that sort of lighting would just really lend itself well to this game. We've already seen how well lit the Hong Kong stages are in the screenshots that we've received, and I feel just this coloration in a stage would really make it for a really unique an interesting stage. Now that I've gotten the real life locations out of the way, I wanted to just sort of discuss what areas in Bleach I could see sort of crashing over into our real world. I know, at least for me, there's not too many iconic, like, giant Bleach structures. Like, with One Piece, obviously, we have the ships. And then with Naruto, we have the Hokage faces, we have the Ten Tails routes. I mean, the Hokage faces for Naruto are super iconic. They're in the very first chapter, like Naruto's, when we first see Naruto, he's painting on them. They're super iconic for Naruto. And then Frieza's ship, another great iconic piece from, I would say, probably the most well-known arc in Dragon Ball. There's nothing really that's super iconic from Bleach for me. And so I chose these based off of what I thought were the most iconic moments from Bleach and what structures I think could work well. Although they aren't super flashy, I would say, or like scream Bleach. The first location I have is Sokyoku Hill, and that's the hill where Rukia was going to be executed in the Soul Society arc. And I chose this because, I mean, if you look at the image I have up, it's super, like, massive, which would work well. And, I mean, they could use the structure that Rukia was going to be executed on itself to be crashing in, maybe sort of crumbled. I would be fine with that. But at the same time, it's mainly just a hill. And so I'm not 100% sold that this would be it, despite it being such an iconic location from Bleach. My other location, or I guess structure, would be the Senkaimon. And this is basically the structure that they use to travel between, like, the human world and the Shinigami world. And I think that the Senkaimon could work. I mean, it's basically just a giant door, but I think it could work if they implement it correctly. It could be like, oh, let's say like Ichigo and Rukia, like, we're coming over to the real world. And then for some reason, like, this Senkai won't just, like, after they pass through it, just like got destroyed. And I feel that could actually be a decent way to bring stuff over from, let's say, anime worlds to real life worlds. What do you guys have to think? I'm sorry I couldn't think of many things from Bleach. I just can't think of too many structures that would be super iconic to bring over. But maybe you guys have a lot of things that you might think are iconic, and if you do, leave them in the comment section down below. I'd love to hear what you guys think. And if you have any other thoughts, if you have any other suggestions as far as like crossovers in like the real world and anime, like let's say if you think like, oh, this place from, let's say, Saint Seiya could cross over into the Roman Colosseum, please leave your comment. I'd love to hear what you guys think could cross over in the stages that I have listed. And if you enjoyed this video, please leave a like, it'd be greatly appreciated. And subscribe if you want to see more Jump Force discussion videos. I'll catch you guys in the next video. Bye.